Again, my name is Amy Ezel, and I have with me today Todd Burris, who is the Director for Administrative Services at the Arkansas Conference. I have Jacob Turner, who is our local church liaison and web developer, as well as our Zoom do it all. And then we also have Day Davis, who is with the Center for Communications also, and she is our social media specialist. And so we are glad to have all of these folks with us today. This is a continuation of last week's Vital Signs 2.0 webinar. And what we're going to do today is take a little bit of a deeper dive into reading the data from your Facebook live worship services, any kind of online small groups, devotions, Zoom reporting, all of the pieces that count toward your vital signs reporting. So we're going to get started today with, first of all, I'm going to share my screen because I want to review just one slide from last week that we are going to focus on. And that is this one about online worship views. When Blake was able to join us last week, he and Todd shared that the views of online worship are what to be counted for your vital signs reporting. And so that is the very first thing that we are going to talk about today, is how to measure the views, how to report the views, and how to also go back and look at previous recordings or videos of your worship services in Facebook to collect those views. So I am going to stop sharing my screen now and turn it over to Day Davis, who is going to share her screen and show you some of the back end works of Facebook. And please, if you have questions, communicate those in the Q&A. The chat is not enabled, and it's just easier for us to check questions and provide the right answers if you put them in the Q&A. So I'll turn it over to you, Day.
Thanks, Amy. Like she said, I'm going to just kind of provide a brief overview of how to find your insights and your video views. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So to start, go to your church's Facebook page. And there are multiple ways to check your insights, but I'm going to try to keep it super easy for this. And I'm just going to go directly to videos.
And that was under more?
Yeah, it should be. It's kind of different for every church depending on where they put their videos.
Okay.
So I'll start with this video right here. Click on the three dots and view insights. My internet's kind of slow.
And the wheels turn.
Yep. So you can see a lot of different information over here, minutes viewed, 498, 1 minute video views, just a lot of information. I think that what they're wanting you to record is the 3-second video views. So that would be this number right here. But I do want to show you that within this, you can see a lot more information, like in the audience retention. You can see at what point your audience really started to drop off. And that is so helpful in knowing. I mean, we all know that we have short attention spans. So in the first few seconds, you really got to grab your audience. But it kind of shows you for previous videos, what's recommended and all of that. So definitely keep up with that information so you can know what's the best way to reach your audience and what information needs to be given immediately.
And Day, can I add to that, please? You know, this is, and we touched briefly on this last week about how our virtual ministries, our online worship, our small groups that we're doing on a virtual platform, This is a new way of discipleship for us, a new form of discipleship. And so checking these analytics weekly, at least monthly, we recommend that this should be part of what you are doing in not just measuring any new people that are attending, but also including how long are people watching. How long are people watching this video? Okay, well, if they're only really, if there is no one watching it and there is still 20 minutes left, we might need to reevaluate our videos.
Yeah, like how can you break it up into maybe multiple videos so more people can see it and engage with it, with each
Right. And we've seen some churches even move away from offering a full worship service on Sunday mornings to offering Monday messaging and Wednesday worship music, and so that you have prayerful Thursdays, and so that you can kind of break it up, or just have a smaller worship service, on Sunday mornings. But anyway, it's something to consider, and it is something to definitely to look upon to consider your online discipleship.
Yeah, thanks for adding that in there. I also want to show you really quick just audience and engagement. You can see where you're reaching the most people, who your top audience is, and that's really important information to know too. And then if you go up here to see metrics for all videos, you can click on that and it will take you to Creator Studio within Facebook. And if you don't already use that to schedule posts and videos in general, I highly recommend this platform. There are a few others that Facebook provides, but this one, I really like it the most because it also lets you schedule for Instagram too. And that's something that hasn't really been done very much, and it makes it so much easier. But through here, you can see, you can change the dates that you want to look at, minutes viewed, just all of your information, and then scroll down and you can see your top videos, the dates, the times, all that too. Amy, is there anything I'm missing?
Will you go back to the audience? I want people to be able to see, with the analytics from Facebook and the mission insight reporting, your executive summary on your mission insight. You have all of the answers about your community, and about and giving you better ability to connect with them. So this I feel like is a very important piece in more of your discipleship, less of your vital signs counting, but in very purposeful for your discipleship. And Dave, if you'll just kind of go over these top audiences. I'm sorry, you can hear my dog in the background always.
Yeah, so this is mainly just the top audience for this specific post, but if you have a Facebook business page, you should have the ability to go over here and click on Insights. And wait a second, and then there's just a lot of information in here. I'm
Okay.
trying to.
Dave, we've got a couple of questions. And so one of them is can you start all the way over again from the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And just show them where to.
Everyone, yes, through the beginning.
Okay.
Now, this, we also, and Patty, I will get to your question, and Susan, this is a regular business page. This is not a group page.
Mm-hmm.
And we have run into this several times with churches that have a group page instead of a regular, is it a business page? Is that what it is, Day?
Yeah, it's just go to create a business page. And if anyone ever has issues setting it up or figuring out if that's what they have, you can always reach out to me and email me, and I'll be happy to walk you through it.
The group pages are not going to have this kind of analytical, it's not going to break it down for you. And it's a great thing to have if you have just a small group of people, but it's just as easy to have a a Facebook page and then be able to break up that Facebook page into private groups.
Yes. Yeah, you can definitely create groups within the Facebook page.
And and just quickly, what we have suggested for people who have started with a group and want to go to a page is that you message everybody in the group and you say, we're moving on up. We're getting a page and we want you to follow that page because this group is, we are going to cancel this group in 30 days and we're going to reopen this group on the main page, but that will allow for us to open other groups. So those are our suggestions there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with that, I want to add that you also want to make sure that your Instagram is a business account as well. It's very easy to just switch it, but you can also view your insights. And like I said, you can schedule Instagram posts and everything. It's a lot easier to do. Okay. So just to walk back through it really quick, to see your insights for specific videos, go down and click on videos on your Facebook page.
So this is the home page, right? This is your home page.
Yes. And then this is on the main ARUMC Facebook page. And then I'm going to find whichever video I would need to see the insights for. I'm going to click the 3 dots.
And what you're going to do is for your vital signs reporting, you're going to want to go back to January 1st. You're going to want to go back to your worship service videos from January 1st to present. So this should have them, organized by date. So it should be very easy.
And honestly, for the most part, it kind of shows you down here too, like how many views each had. But to get more specific, we're going to go down to view insights. Internet. And then once it comes up, you can see the 3-second video views, 569 people, and that's what you will report.
Yes. And so what you'll also see on here are 1-minute video views, 10-second video views, average video watch time, the audience, the performance of, the overall performance as far as distribution. There are so many different things that this platform can offer you to help you make improvements in connection, to kind of better meet people where they are. And so, so this is all very important. Hold on just a second, Day. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Patty Butler has asked a really good question, and that is, could you address 2-point charges that are viewing the same worship service? She shares it to her personal page and then to each church page. So are the views going to all, since it's the same video, are they all going to show up on her page, or on, how should she count that?
That's a really good question. I'm confused though how she's able to, because I'm not sure. I don't know if she's able to see the insights from her own page though.
Do what?
I don't know if she's able to see insights from her personal page.
Okay. So is that not going to show up on her church sites?
I would recommend putting them on each page and just like scheduling them as a premiere video. Okay.
Patty, call me. We'll walk you through how to premiere if you want us to. That is, we might want to try and do it backwards from what you're doing, is premiere it on the pages and then you share the church pages.
Because then it would count the shares as well.
It'll count towards your, yes, and that will that boosts that. But as it stands right now, I would go to each of your Facebook pages and count the views of each video on each Facebook page for each particular church. I hope that makes sense. All right. Also, is there a way on Facebook to see where the viewers are located?
Yes. So you can see in, I think it was audience and engagement.
Okay.
Top location, Arkansas. It doesn't get down to the towns as much as you would like, but it does show you, I mean, 85.2% of our viewers are in Arkansas. And there are ways, if I could go deeper, but we're gonna have to save that for another day, or if you want to reach out to me, we can get more into it. But
Okay. Patty has asked, if we boost our video after the service is over, do these views count differently? And I will help with that. And Todd, you might want to speak up if I am incorrect. You know, I would take all of the views of your worship service and add them together. If you
Correct.
boost it, if you just premiere it, if you share it, I would take those views and I would add them together. Okay. Susan, between the two churches, we have a total of 18, but we have 500 people who are part of the group page. Again, a group page is not going, it's going to make it more difficult for you to manage the data and for you to see where the people are from, how long they're viewing videos, where, you know, basically the effectiveness of your video, your worship video or your devotion or your musical offering. It's just going to be easier to you know, put a message in that group and say, please follow our new page, and give them a direct link. Create the page, copy, paste it into a post on that, in that private group, and invite them, say, hey, click here. And
yeah, and also, like you said, also it's like send them specific invitations to like the page on on Facebook.
Yes. Okay. What is the number that we need to use to keep track of views?
The 3-second video views.
The 3-second video views. Yes. Or is that?
It's going to make a little bit more sense once we go to another platform and look at what the views look like over there, because they don't line up.
Okay.
So if we looked at like YouTube, or I know one church uses Vimeo.
Okay. So Lori is asking, and she thought we were reporting peak live viewers.
That was one of the things that Blake put on that slide that you just showed.
Okay.
But once we got into this, it again, the different platforms report it very differently. And this was the lowest common denominator across those platforms.
Okay. Is the information the same for a Facebook Live video as one that is recorded and uploaded? So if you do a Facebook Live and it is a worship service, the views for that will be counted towards your worship of the week. If you take that, can you take Facebook Live video and then upload it to Premiere and schedule it, Day?
I'm actually not sure about that. Like after you've already done the Facebook Live?
Yes.
I'm not sure. I don't know why you would want to, since it's already on there.
I don't know that is an option. Usually the Facebook Live video just stays on your Facebook and it still circulates. So, but if you are able to share it and it is a worship service and you get new viewers, yes, you want to count that.
I'm trying to find maybe a live video that we've done recently so I can show them, but I can't really find one.
Okay. Do you have to be an administrator to the Facebook page to see this viewing information?
Yes.
Okay.
Administrator, editor, all of the different roles, they show you as in the settings part, that it shows you what each role has control over. But yeah.
Okay. So maybe we have, so Blake told us to use the 30-second or at least 1-minute view. So Todd, share with me. Are we going with 3-second views, or I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Dave, can you bring up like a YouTube video and let us look at that? And then we'll come back to that question.
I'm not sure if I'm logged in on this. So that might, no, I'm not. So 1 second, let me stop sharing my screen.
No problem. I'm going to answer a couple of questions while you're doing that. 3 seconds is awfully short, Kathy, 3 seconds. And what you're going to find is that I hate to say the majority, but a big number of people stop watching after 3 seconds. So, but oftentimes when you have the views, if you don't go into the analytics and you just have views, you know how it'll say at the bottom left corner of the post, if you're an administrator, 434 views, that's counting all of the views. So
I think it's important to remember here, though, we're not taking attendance. We're trying to measure the reach that your online presence has. And so whether the person watches the whole video or not, we're still getting information as to how many people your service has the potential even to reach. So don't think of this as we had 500 people in attendance. That's not what this is, and that's not what we're asking for. We know that this is a totally different category. And that's the reason we're not calling it attendance. Statistical tables are going to ask you for your online worship attendance. That's not what this vital signs number is, though. We're simply looking for views and having some sort of reach. Now, we think that there's merit in knowing more about these numbers. So what is your church's online worship service? How long are people being engaged? Just as they showed you earlier, what's the drop-off point? Is it 2 minutes? Is it 5 minutes? Is it 10? And try to customize your messages to try to reach the most people in that time frame. But we're just asking for views because we want to know the potential impact your message may have. And in Facebook, a lot of times that's somebody scrolling by. You're simply scrolling through a phone or on your computer, and you see it, but you may not say, I've already watched it, or I need to watch that later, something along those lines. I don't have time to spend 30 minutes in a worship service right now, but you've reached that person, and whether they come back or not is not important, but they may come back and watch it, and it still counts as a separate view, if that makes sense. But the reason we're doing that is because that's one way of dealing with it on Facebook. YouTube has a totally different way of counting metrics and stuff, and what Dave's going to show us in a minute. And they don't really line up. And so we just said we're not going to get too concerned about how long somebody is participating in that online worship service. We want to know reach, and then later we may ask for the total number of minutes viewed or some other metric to kind of pull that back together. Sorry, Amy, I've taken over the whole.
That's okay. I'm looking at all of the questions, and in last week's video, Blake had mentioned that that everyone needed to record the peak view, the peak views, and the problem with that is not everyone has access to that information. And so that was why we are trying to make this as simple for you as possible, because not everyone has a page, they have a group. Or they have, I mean, all of these different things. Lynn, I see your comment here or question, and I totally get it. And my suggestion to you would be to make note of, if you have the ability to keep up with and measure and collect the peak views, which is probably going to be in the first 2 minutes, that is, report that, and then also make comment, peak view, data. If you do not have access to that data, if you have a page and you do not, if you have a group and you do not have a page, then if you are sharing from Zoom to Facebook Live, I'm not sure there if you're going to be able to collect data other than just overall views. So if you'll just make note, if we're trying to make this very simple for everyone, and some folks don't have the opportunity to check peak views. They don't have the opportunity to use that tool. So if you can grab peak views, do that, but share in the comment box. If you don't have the ability to grab those peak views, share overall views, and be sure to put that in the comment box as well. I hope that answers your question. Lynn, please give me feedback in the chat and let me in the Q&A and let me know if that is helpful. So anyway, like they said, Todd said, this is not attendance. This is reach. This is reach. So Judy says, do we need to take the counts at the end of the week in which it was posted? So yes, and that was recommended because the beauty of Facebook and YouTube is that this stays on your page. And if people have a busy week and they can't watch it and they finally get a Saturday morning and they're going to watch 3 weeks of sermons, then they're going to watch 3 weeks of sermons. But I would recommend, and I believe Blake and Todd also recommended, that Mondays, not the Monday right after your worship service, but a Monday following is probably when you need to grab your data from the week previous. Give everyone a good week to get on there, watch it, check it out, share it, comment on it, and then go ahead and grab that data. I hope that is helpful. Okay. So yes, Susan, it's all about views. Grab those views. If you don't have a Facebook business page, you just collect the views. Correct. Okay, we're going to talk about Zoom in just a minute. I promise y'all. I know so many of y'all are using Zoom, and I love that. And we're going to talk about how to collect that data in just a minute. Okay, so Patty says you can continue to share the live video, but you can't premiere it. If you do a Facebook Live, you can't upload it to premiere at a certain time to schedule it, but you can download it to YouTube and share it on YouTube again. So thank you very much. Let's see. Cheryl Kate, hey Cheryl, we live stream on YouTube, and then again you do that on a Sunday and then again on a Monday. And then you put it on Vimeo. You put it on your website and then also post it on your YouTube page. That's awesome. Were you able to get into YouTube? Are we going to be able to look at how to grab analytics there?
Yes. And I can go ahead and share my screen. Todd and I were just talking about which one of us is going to go over it. Because honestly, I don't know a whole lot about YouTube analytics.
That's okay. That's all right. Christina is usually the one that manages our YouTube. And so
but we're all learning. So
we'll be tag team. Absolutely.
I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
And
I have one video on YouTube and it has 50,000 views. You would never guess what it is either.
Volleyball.
No. It's a car repair video. It's hilarious.
All right.
As everyone's zooming, as everyone's Googling.
Okay, I'm just going to click on one of the videos that we have on here.
Okay.
I'll go with last week's vital signs. This one is not on Facebook though, so I don't know if we can really, and then, so down here, there should be an analytics option. And click on that. It also shows views. And this just shows you how many views you had.
So at the top right, where it says since published.
Mm-hmm. Where's that?
If you'll click that little box up and to the right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for like a sermon or yeah, you would want to do the last 7 days. So you come in Monday, last 7 days, and you can see that you've had 64 views of this over the last week. And notice here on YouTube, we have views. We don't have 3-second views. We don't have 5, 10, 30-minute views. We have views. That's it. And so if we put out some message that says, Facebook, you need to know what your 30-minute view is. Well, over here, we don't even have a comparable tool to do that. That's the reason why we're using the smallest number here, which is actually the biggest number of views, 30 or 64 in the last week. That's what you would put into your vital signs along with any other means. So if you shared this video on Facebook, then you would have the video on Facebook Analytics as well. I'm sorry, Dave, continue.
No, that's great. I'm glad you put that all in there. Yeah, I don't know, what all do you want me to share on here as far as?
This is really where we were trying to get to.
Yeah. So if Facebook were a little easier, but then again, the beauty of Facebook is that it also helps us to create a better discipleship pathway. It helps us to know, okay, people are only watching my video for 2 minutes. What do we, how do we fix that? How do we reach people better? So thank you. Mm-hmm. I think that's good. Okay, so several people have asked, do we take all of our online platforms, count up the views, and then add them together? My answer would be yes. Is that correct, Todd?
I would say yes. I'm not certain if, say, we shared that video through Facebook and somebody watches it on Facebook. Is it considered a view in both platforms? I don't know. But I think regardless, you would count both of them because we don't know what the crossover there is.
Right. I mean, some people may not have Facebook, and so they're just watching on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Or Vimeo. So, so I would say yes, that you need to take your views from January 1st. Take all of the views from Facebook, all of your views from YouTube, from Vimeo, from whatever else, and we're going to show you how to show you how to do reporting for Zoom, and then just add them all together. But again, in the notes section, in the comments section, I would add, this is from these 4 different platforms or these 2 platforms. So, always provide more information than what is necessary, I would say. So anyway, okay. So yes, Tony, if you have multiple services throughout the week, okay. So Blake addressed that last week, that if you have it, as long as it is a worship service and not just a one-way channel of communication. If it's a worship service that includes 2-way communication, then that can be counted. Is that correct, Todd? But I don't remember about like Wednesday evening services or Wednesday morning.
Yeah. So really what it is regular weekly services.
Yeah.
And we're going to include Easter and Christmas Eve services there as well as regular services. But regular weekly services, all the views that you've had for that over the past week have counted.
And so now I know he said that like online devotions don't count. They're great. Don't stop doing it.
Right.
They're creating connection, y'all, but they don't count towards worship or small groups because it is usually a one-way communication. So
now, if you're having a Bible study on Zoom,
right,
that could count towards your Christian formation groups attendance,
yes,
and number of meetings. Yes.
But to like have a morning, I mean, I know lots of pastors do
morning devotional,
a morning devotion,
yeah,
that are amazing, but unfortunately right now they don't count. Okay. Correct. So we have Facebook Live for Sunday worship. between a 3-point charge. Perfect. How can I find this information on a personal Facebook page in order to record my numbers? So Mark, if you are doing this from your page, your personal page, you should be able to see at the, if you'll pull up the post that has the video, and in the bottom left-hand corner, it should be really little, and it should say 272 views or 100, or, thousands of, whatever, however many views, but it should tell you. I would suggest maybe creating a Facebook page to include all 3 of your charges, so that you can put it there, and maybe even create some connection between the 3 charges, and maybe create private groups for each charge within that one page. But that's just an idea. I hope that helped. No stupid questions, Kathy. Why does one side show 64 views and the other side shows 75 views? Day?
Can you say that again?
The question is, why does one side of the post show 64 views and the other side shows 75 views?
Oh, is that on YouTube?
It was on YouTube, yeah.
Oh, a YouTube question. Okay.
We changed it to just show the stats for the last 7 days. So altogether, since the video was published to YouTube, there were 76 views altogether. But just in the last 7 days, there have been 64 views.
Okay, I hope that helps, Kathy. I'm sorry, I'm just now getting to your question. Do I need a YouTube account to move a Facebook Live sermon shared to YouTube? Yes. And they're very easy to set up. You just want to be sure to brand it as you do your church, as you do your Facebook page, so that it is easily identifiable. If you have questions about setting up a YouTube account, contact me or Day, and we will put you in touch with the right person. So, what if you're streaming to multiple outlets? That's amazing. Fabulous. That means you're reaching a huge amount of people. Take the totals from each platform and add them together, and just make note in the comment section in Vital Signs. Hey, Kathleen. Our largest viewer audience is our TV audience. They get their numbers from the TV station. Where do we report those viewers?
I think you're looking at me, aren't you, Amy?
I am. I'm looking directly at you. I'm actually looking through you to go, where is Blake?
I can't tell. No, we talked about this, and it's one of those things that there are very few churches in the state that have a TV audience, and they just go in the notes section at the bottom.
Yeah.
So we're not going to create an entire category for one church, but we do want that reported, but we ask you to report them in the special comment section.
And same with radio.
Exactly.
There's not a special place for radio. And we have a lot of churches that broadcast on local radio, which is fantastic. And just collect that data from the station. I'm sure they let you know, and just collect that and add it in, just at the bottom.
And I will say that I live in Conway, and we have our own kind of cable station here, and they're allowing churches to broadcast for free during the pandemic. You get like an hour a week. And so if you haven't thought about this, but you may want to think about, if you're in a market that has a local cable company or a local public service station, that they may allow you to do some broadcasting, and all you're basically going to do is take whatever your YouTube video is or your Facebook video, and you could export that and send it to them, and then you could reach a whole new audience. So that's a side note. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I'm trying to, yes, we are going to get to Zoom and the reporting for Zoom. I'm just trying to get through these questions really quickly. If you have outdoor worship and a Facebook, you can record both. You can report because there are people that are present, physically present, but then there are people who are viewing who are not physically present. So yes, record both.
Outdoor worship counts as attendance if they are present, period. And then this is just views and reach.
Okay. Okay, I already answered that one. Angie, add your radio, collect the information from the station, the data from the station, and just add that in the comments at the bottom. Okay, there's no line item for that. Okay, I'm going to now hang on to these questions, but I'm now going to turn it over to Jacob Turner, who is going to share with us the background, the workings of Zoom, and how you can collect data from having a small group study or gathering via Zoom. So I'm going to turn it over to you now, Jacob.
All right, thank you, Amy. Give me just a second here, and I'll share my screen. So here we go. You all should be seeing the Zoom profile for
Okay.
the.
First of all, that is so small, I can't see it. Is there any way that we can make that bigger? I know if I can't see it, some of my other friends can't see it.
Just to clarify, I have a 4K monitor that I use, so everything is, I have a massive screen that everything looks big on. So can you see that?
Yes, thank you.
All right. So we use a Zoom, functionally a pro level account for the conference office. So this should be the same whether you use a free or a pro account, but do reach out to me if you have issues and you're using a free account. This is the website for Zoom. This is the back end for it. And you will probably be very familiar with this and the meetings tab, but what we're going to use specifically is the reports tab that's at the bottom of the menu here. You'll go ahead and click on that. If you are prompted to select a particular report, we're going to cover usage because we are assuming here that you are not running registration for your meetings. If you are running a registration, you get those numbers automatically from the registration itself. You do not have to do this. But if you do not, you will want to use the usage tab here. Once you do so, you will get a report of meetings within the past day automatically. For our sake, I'm going to set the report duration to cover every meeting that has happened within the last week. And you will see here, we're going to look at the Launching Vital Signs 2.0 webinar that we did last week. What we can see here is a couple of different things like meeting ID, and that's all well and good. What you'll want to do, and since I'm doing it, I'll have to scroll over, but what you'll want to be looking for is here there is a column labeled participants. This number right here, this 182 for this particular webinar, is the total number of people who logged into the Zoom meeting for any duration of time. So I believe for vital signs, this is the number that you're looking for if you're reporting Zoom small groups for Christian formation or anything like that. That is this number right here. You'll notice that it's blue. It is a link that you can click on. If you click on this link, you can get a list of all of the meeting participants and their name and email. Now, this is, of course, a list that you can scroll through and such. Won't be scrolling down, but you can see the four of us that were the panelists. You can export this list and have a list of all the email addresses of the people that attended. You also can get that by the duration of time that they spent in it. So this will work for anyone who signed in using a computer. If they called in using a phone number, you will need to know their phone number if you're wanting to put a name with a number. But for purposes of reporting, it will count in that participant's number as well. And so there you have it in terms of getting the data from Zoom for reporting a meeting.
Okay, sorry, I've been feverishly trying to answer questions. Does anyone have any questions about Zoom specifically? Zoom has been a lifesaver. I know Patty Butler mentioned that so many of her folks don't have the internet power to be able to watch Facebook Live, but they have enough internet power to log into a Zoom. So, which is wonderful. So Zoom has just been a lifesaver in keeping us connected throughout this pandemic. Especially for small groups, for meetings, for worship, lots of different opportunities. And one of the beautiful things about Zoom is that by knowing that you can collect all of this data from Zoom, that you can you have a list of everyone's email simply right there in a spreadsheet, that you can create a group to email that group, and you can send reminders to that group. You can send follow-up to that group. You can say, okay, we have 15 in this group, I would like to increase it to 18, so please invite people next week to join us, or whatever. But and then to also, by recording it, you have that link that you can then put on your website for people who may have missed the small group and wanted to be there, or you can send them an email, just like this webinar. It operates very, very much the same in that it is when we record it, then it takes just a few minutes to upload to the cloud, and then we get an email that here's a link with your meeting on it, and then you can forward that link to anyone who missed it, that needed to collect that information, or who wanted to participate but couldn't. So let me see what information we have. Okay, is the page Jacob displayed available just for the host? Jacob, do you want to answer
Yes.
that?
The answer is yes. It is only available for the host of the meeting, whoever that was. If you set up a meeting, and this is in this instance, if you set up a meeting and you change the host in the meeting itself, it will still be with the person who was initially the host or scheduled the meeting. So the answer to that is yes.
Yes.
Or if your church has a multi-user account, any of the administrators can go in there and read that as well. But it would have to be on the host side of the account. So none of the participants could log in and see that number.
Yes, and that is specifically for churches that have multiple licenses on one account. This is not a church that has multiple accounts, just to clarify.
Right. And Clark, hey Clark, he asked a really good question. What if your church, if you have teachers that are using their own personal Zoom accounts to carry their class, hold a class, hold meetings, whatever? Yes, you will need to collect the data from them, from each of them, and remember, meetings are different than small group gatherings. Meetings don't count, but study groups, devotion groups, prayer groups, those do count. Okay, I hope.
And just to expand just a little bit, anybody can pull these reports if they have a personal account. It's not just limited to pro accounts. So they should be able to pull the same reports and export that data that can be sent to you or some person at the church to collect statistics. So these are exportable data sets as well.
So Teresa Brody just asked that if you have administrative rights to the church Zoom account, you will be able to see who the participants are for your Sunday school classes. Yes. And it's, if you just have one Zoom account, instead of having if you don't want the leader or facilitator, or if you don't want them to take like a role every week, you can actually go in and check the number of attendees for each Zoom call if it's just under one account. Kyle, you're asking about podcasts, and I love that. You'll have to let us know what your podcast is called, because we are all podcast junkies. So let us know. But with podcasts, you will need to just kind of like television and radio, just make note of that in the comments section at the bottom. As far as, and I have never been on the administrative end of a podcast, so I don't know how you collect your information other than subscribers. So, so you might go ahead.
I'll take a stab at this question. Yes, because I actually I do have some experience with podcasting platforms. I can say that most platforms will give you engagement much in the same way that social media networks will. I know that several of our churches use Buzzsprout, for example, and it reports them as downloads, even though it counts them across all platforms that podcast is distributed on. If you have questions about specific platforms, don't hesitate to email me. I can help you get engagement that you can report in Vital Signs in that comment section. So
great, thank you. Okay, I have one last question, and this has been a popular question, and so I wanted to go over it again. So if you have a worship service, this is about reporting and dates. So I would suggest maybe calling Mondays data collection Mondays, but you're not going to want to report the data from the day before, from the worship service from the day before. What you're probably going to want to do is you're probably going to want to report from the week before. So if your Monday is on the 15th, then you're probably going to want to go back to the 7th and report worship from the 7th. And then when you have worship on the 14th, then you're probably going to want to report that on that Monday, the 20th. I mean, and that's just my suggestion, but that, yes, you do not want to report just next day, because the beauty of Facebook and YouTube is that these services, these videos have opportunity to grow, and more people can watch it as it lives on your Facebook page or on your YouTube account. So so I would give it at least a week for reporting. Hope that explains that. Okay. I will make that suggestion, Clark. I will make that suggestion for Vital Signs 2.5. But as it stands right now, we're just putting television, radio, and podcasting all in one lump sum in the comments section. But thank you for that. Okay, so Sunday school and Bible study Zooms should be reported as small groups, small group gatherings. Tina, and thank you for your question. Hey, Regina, did I hear Monday through Sunday or Sunday through Saturday? I would give it, what I was saying is I would give it at least a week. I would give it at least a week. Because people do not always, and y'all know this, the people who have been you've been watching and measuring your data, that people don't just watch on Sunday mornings from 10 to 11, that you have people that'll watch on Tuesday. So I'm suggesting that you either wait 8 to 10 days between the service that was when it was produced or offered live until the time that you report it. So I would give it at least a week. I'm afraid 2 weeks might get confusing and you would be lagging, but I would give it at least a week and maybe push it out to a week and a half. Hope that helps. Okay. I do not have any more questions in the Q&A. Panelists, is there anything that you would like to add in closing?
Just that you should check your insights on Facebook and Instagram often, because it also does tell you the times that your audience is most active. And for us, it's 6 p.m. So that's really good information to know too.
Mhm. And as we have said many times before, what is good for us may not be good for you, because every audience is going to be different. And to know your audience, which is half the battle, to know who your audience is, that is an easy grab for you, and that is in your Facebook data. We can also provide you with a mission insight report if you want to know your a 2-mile radius of your neighborhood, of your community, a 5, 10, 15-mile radius. We can give that to you as well, because that's half the battle, is knowing who you are trying to reach with your message. So, and I have another question. The plan to report all sermon. Yes, Lori, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Awesome. Thank you so much. Todd, did you want to offer anything in? Okay. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. That is my biggest recommendation. The day that you sent just went to the panelists. If you will send that to attendees and panelists, that would be awesome.
I was trying to send my email.
That's okay. Day is trying to send her email to everyone. I am so glad that these have been helpful. That is great. And I am thankful that that the panelists were able to be here and to keep this easy for you. This is one of those things that we're trying to make this easy, but we also want you to be able to share all of the good stuff about your church and everything that you're doing within your ministry. And I hope that this also has been helpful for you to be able to see the possibilities and the opportunities for discipling to that online audience. And I hope that, and as you know, I echo Bishop, that this is a new normal, that your online ministries, whether it be small group Zooms, morning devotions on Facebook Live, online worship opportunities, will continue even after this yucky pandemic stuff is hopefully behind us. But this is our new normal. So
we do have one more question.
Okay.
It's, if you break your worship service into two different pieces, which ones do you count?
So Keith, I would want to know what different pieces those are. Are you doing like music on one day and message on another? Text me if you want to, or email, because my initial thought would be you would probably want to count them both, but I don't know. Yeah, and Todd's kind of making that, I don't know too. So message one of us and let us know, please, if you don't mind. Also, Ken wants Jacob's email address. Day, will you please share that? Or Jacob, will you please?
I'm on it.
Okay, thank you. We are here for you. We are here to help you, support you. As I said last week, cheer for you in all of your victories, and to help support you in connecting better with the people that you have, as well as making connection with the people that you don't know yet. So I hope that you'll continue to have an excitement along with us about the opportunities that we have been offered during the pandemic, to be able to reach new people, but also to be able to connect in a different but yet a very personal way, using technology with your members that you already have, and keeping people together. If you have any questions, like I said, yell at us, give us or not yell, but give us a shout, and we'll be glad to help with anything. Any last words?
Amy, it looks like Tina sent one more question. Weekly food pantry pickups, are those counted as in-person gatherings?
No, they're counted as missions, but it's just the people that are serving in missions. So we count the amount of money spent as part of a statistical report of other benevolent giving. And then we count the number of people serving in missions would be the workers for the food pantry. But the conference isn't asking for the number of people that you're serving in that capacity.
Awesome. Jacob, one more time, can you put up on the screen the upcoming webinar that we have for people just like you who are doing ministry more, and you are offering ministry in person and online, and both, and I should say. And I highly recommend that you put this date on your calendar. The registration link is in the newsletter that came out that came out today. And we have a Facebook event. This is also on the website under webinars. Highly, highly recommend that you gather your worship team together and get in the sanctuary, put it up on the big screen, spread out, wear your masks, and enjoy and learn a little bit from this. I will tell you in closing, it's going to be a lot. It's very fast paced and it's a lot, and you're not going to be able to do everything, but pick and choose for your context, and but you're going to get a lot out of it. Blessings, everybody. We love you. We're cheering for you, and let us know if we can help you in any way. Bye.